Daps, you guys had quite a run here at IEM Katowice. As the coach, looking overall at the team, give me your verdict on the run here.
In terms of the run, I mean, it was super good overall, considering our blast result and the lack of practice we've had coming into this year. We had like 4 days before blast, and then before Katowice between blasts, we had like 4 or 5 days as well. So we've only really had 7 full prac days, and that's not enough. We're adding nuke as well and doing all these things. So overall, we're happy we got revenge on Spirit, we got revenge on FaZe, and we beat Vitality. So we beat the only top teams that we never beat before at this event. So overall, it's a good run, and the G2 match was also winnable. Like, at least we went into that match and we didn't get absolutely stomped. Like, we made a ton of mistakes, lost a ton of man advantages, so it was a winnable match. So I'm happy with the result.
In terms of that nuke pick, like you mentioned, working that into the map pool, was that an idea that came from you, or was it Nitro, or was it workshopped, or what was the whole situation there?
It was an idea I was floating around even last year, just because from watching the team and knowing how we play, it's a map that suits our roles a lot better as players, and also is a map that fits like our calling style a lot better. So I guess I was sort of the one to bring it up initially, but everyone eventually agreed on it as well. And then we decided to just like, fuck it, we have to add it now if at any time. So, yeah.
In terms of some of the games that you guys had here, we obviously know about the comeback on Overpass. It seemed like there was a lot of like slow starts. What's like the way that you can kind of go about fixing those slow starts so they don't happen as consistently as they did here?
It's hard to like say one thing, because like a slow start can be based on how they're playing. They could just be playing insane and we're not doing anything wrong, or we could just be making a ton of mistakes. Our comms are low. To be honest, it's not an issue I feel like we've had really with this lineup, having slow starts, but I mean the things to do to like stop that is just make sure we have a good pistol for like first few rounds we have planned out, like really thought through, and we usually do. And just making sure we keep our comms up and we're like in it from the start.
For you as the coach, Yakinder was added around IEM Cologne. We know that Elige is quite an aggressive rifler and Yakinder's an aggressive rifler. With the way that their kind of form has kind of fluctuated on the T side, like with spots kind of overlapping, what's that been like for you trying to work both of them into a system that works for both of them?
I think it's been easier than I thought it would be, just because even though they play similar roles, Yakinder is a lot more aggressive than Elige's, and it sort of is a nice balance, I'd say. There are some maps where like the roles are kind of awkward because we don't have like a real second lurker, so then like Nitro has to pick that up sometimes. But it's not too bad, just because Yakinder also like mid-round calls and says a lot of stuff in game, so Nitro being second lurk sometimes it doesn't like hinder us at all.
Another thing with the roles in this team has been Naf. Like, whereas in the past we've kind of seen him more as like a star player, he's in like the kind of anchor roles. Do you think him as a player, like his versatility, do you think we could see him become like way more comfortable in like those lurk roles and like be one of the best in the world at them in like anchor roles as well?
Yeah, I mean Naf has always been a top tier player in those roles, and I mean that's just sort of the role he has to fill in the team. He's the only one that really does it to that level, and I 100% think he could be the best in the world at it. He's shown time and time again his consistency, and I think he even was like second most consistent player last year in terms of I saw an HLTV article about it. So I mean, he's doing a good job, and he's one of the most reliable players on the team.
At this tournament, oSee kind of shut up a lot of the haters with his form and the way he kind of came out of his shell a bit. What's it been like trying to work with him? Because we talked to Elige and he mentioned like confidence was the one thing he was missing. What's it been like working with him?
Working with oSee has been a pleasure. He's super receptive to criticism, always willing to learn. He's obviously the least experienced person on the team, and he just is always open to like trying new things and taking in things. And I agree, he definitely had some confidence issues last year, but he's gaining more and more confidence with every event, and he's showing to himself, most importantly, and to others that he belongs here. And I think that's super good going forward. The more and more his confidence builds, it'll just keep improving his game.
And like in terms of the team overall, it seems that we're going to get into kind of a busy period with like RMRs and ESL Pro League coming up. For you as a coach, what's the main point of focus that you want to focus on for these future events?
I mean, I said it already in an interview before, but our main focus is to win the major. Obviously, we're going to try and still do well and win all the other events as well going forward, but we're trying to take more of a strategy where we're not using all of our energy instantly out of the gate, because we've run into, this team even before I was here has run into burnout issues multiple times, and we don't want to be like at the Paris major or the events after that and be like, oh, we're so burnt out, tired, like we just... So we're trying to find ways to like balance our energy for each event properly so we can get like maximize our results.
Like you mentioned, the main focus being winning the major. We've seen 2 finals appearances, and like I feel like the expectation is now like make playoffs every time. With the experience and the mix of experience and talent in this team, like what do you think it's going to take to get over the line and get that tournament win with this lineup?
I mean, I feel like we've shown that we can win an event 100%. Obviously, G2 is playing really, really well right now, and so is Heroic, but we've beaten both those teams in the past, the same lineups, and it really just comes down to like our own individual form and just sort of the practice we have. We definitely play a lot better when we have like weeks of practice in a row, so we go into every event knowing we can win, and it just really comes down to like our game plan and just how we show up in the server.